a cold winter day. The leaves are slowly falling, the colors are large array. But I know, whoa, when this feeling starts to show.
Hello, Relayers! My name is Otis, and I'm your DJ sound guy on what would have been our Santa Clara Relay today. But because we're locked down in this shelter-in-place order, it's not going to hinder our united spirit in the fight against cancer. So with that said, welcome to our Santa Clara Relay stream. Today we have several amazing interviews done by those volunteers in the fight, survivors, and we have some great videos as well. We encourage everyone to share the links to get the word out on Facebook. Also a little later, we'll hear from one of our ACS staff members on when our Santa Clara Relay will happen in the future. But for now, let's listen to Michelle's courageous story, followed by an interview hosted by Terry.
My name is Michelle Perea, and I'm from Tracy, California. I've always been very busy with my work, my career. We have 4 kids, and they're 16, 14, 8, and 6. Before I found out that something was wrong, I would go to the gym and I would work out, and I'd be so tired. And I would think, gosh, normally I have kind of a second wind when I'm done here, and there'd be certain things that I couldn't do, like laying flat on my stomach. I just felt like there was something there. I was slightly overweight, and I mentioned it to my doctor, and she's like, well, you know, it's your later 30s, you're approaching 40, it's not as easy to lose weight as it was. And so I ended up just passing it off. But finally in September, I was feeling more tired, I was feeling out of breath. I saw a different doctor, and she said, you could have herniated something, but just to make sure, we're gonna take a CT scan. And she said, we won't have the results until next week sometime. But it was the very next day, she told me, we found something on the CT scan. We're not sure what it is, but we want you to see an oncologist. I was 38 years old at the time. I remember thinking immediately, I'm gonna die. It took a while to get the biopsy done. And when she pulled up the chair to Mike and I when we were sitting in there, I knew the look on her face that it wasn't good. And that's when she revealed, she's like, it's sarcoma. It's stage 4. I've already talked to a few surgeons. They said it's inoperable. It was actually completely wrapped around my aorta. I'm hearing it and I'm like, okay, so chemotherapy, radiation, what exactly are you saying? And she said, you might have through the holidays. We went straight to Modesto Hospital and met with a surgeon, and he did say to us, if there are any other alternatives out there that even I don't know about, you should look into it. So at that point in time, I of course was on the phone with my mom. She was a nanny for a doctor. And so they started communicating with the sister of the doctor. She immediately said, where you guys are located, Stanford is not far. You need to go there and get a second opinion because they do things that people don't even know about. My first visit to Stanford, I actually met with Dr. Ganjo. Immediately, she wanted to present my case before the tumor board. I got the phone call, which was on my birthday. And the birthday gift for me was the tumor board has decided that we want to take on your case. Of course, I burst into tears. It was an emotional time. So on the 17th, I actually met Dr. Norton for the first time. I remember him saying, I gotta be honest with you. I'm not gonna say it's gonna be easy, but he's like, I have a good feeling about this. Dr. Harris was also on the surgical team. He told me the risk was that I could not survive the surgery. And because the tumor was growing so close to the spine, he said, there's a chance that you could be paralyzed. The surgery itself actually exceeded 10 hours. Once they got inside, it was more than anyone expected. A lot of reconstruction. My mom said that she will never forget when Dr. Harris came out. He was just like he had been, in a marathon. He's like, we did it. After I was out of ICU, the very first thing I did was I remember I tried to move my toes, move my feet. And when I did, I remember how much pain that was. I never felt so happy to feel so much pain. But waking up and seeing my family and the doctors coming in and checking on me, "You did great, Michelle. The surgery, we got it. We did it." I got routine scans every 6 months. So in 2010, I had a scan, and when the scan came back, it showed disease. The second surgery, while they were in there, he found about 10 other small tumors and a tumor in my vena cava. So now I have completed 6 weeks of radiation. I had an appointment today, which was great, my post-radiation appointment. I just feel so lucky and so thankful that I had great doctors. They did a miracle when it came to me, because I was given the worst sentence and I ended up having really a result that no one expected.
I'm Terry Morrow. I am the team developer. I think that's my title. I don't know. I'm the team developer for the Santa Clara Relay for Life. And I have courageous and brave Michelle Perea here, who is going to share with us her experience with a very rare cancer, and her survival so far from it, and how she dealt with it. Go ahead, Michelle.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate this, Terry. This opportunities like this are really taken seriously for me, because not everybody knows what's out there available to them, and I think it's important that everybody has a chance to know how much support that they actually have. Right. So I was actually diagnosed on Halloween Day in 2007.
Okay.
Yeah, it was pretty grim. So that night, of course, taking my kids, my husband and I taking our kids trick-or-treating, we were completely thought this was it. This is going to be the last time, I go trick-or-treating with them. And the doctors had already met. They'd already had second opinions, and they said there was nothing literally they could do. It was a sarcoma, and where it was located, which was around my heart and major organs, they could not do a surgery that big, because I would not sustain the surgery. So I pretty much had a horrific diagnosis when I was first told. And we ended up going trick-or-treating that night. And I remember afterwards, my mom called me back. She worked for a doctor in Indiana who had a sister on the East Coast that was a researcher. And she mentioned Stanford. She's like, you have to go there. Mm-hmm. There's something that they could possibly do. So anyway, that's where we ended up. And we went there. We actually got the call that they were going to take my case on my birthday, which was nice. That was in November.
That's a nice
and
gift.
I had my first surgery on December 3rd. So it went fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was quick. And when they removed the tumor, it was 11 pounds. And it was major surgery. And I had a lot of reconstruction, a lot of things taken out and partially taken out and kind of put back together. So, but I had a good support system. I had, my kids, my family, my friends, and my mom flew out. So I was very fortunate for that. And, that's how my journey started. And then kind of from there, it just, every few years I said, I kind of was going in for maintenance. Not really, but it had metastasized a few times. And so I had to go in and keep that in check. But it's been almost 14 years later. So it is, and I am living proof that you can live with a very horrible, something that's supposed to be a horrible outcome. You can live through that and you can make it. And I think a lot of what kept me going, besides my family, was going in and getting treatments, seeing people that I would never see again, and that I just knew when I saw them, I knew they're not going to make it. And I thought, if they can get themselves here and get themselves to treatment and do this because they want to live,
Mm-hmm.
I am just being ridiculous, crying over why me.
Mm-hmm.
And they really inspired me to just take it and move forward and keep going. They're like my unknown angel, so to speak, I guess. Even in the hospital, knowing that I had been there for nearly a month, but at the end of the month, I was at least leaving. I was coming home. Some of those people never leave. And for me, that was unbearable. So I thank them all the time. Like I said, I don't even know who they are, but I thank them because they are my inspiration. And those who have lost their battle are my inspiration, because I saw what they were willing to do and how far in they would dig to just want one more day.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Very blessed. Very blessed. So can I ask you, what are you doing for the situation that we're in now to protect yourself and stay healthy?
Well, I'm definitely not messing around with when they tell you to stay home and stay isolated. You can bet yourself I'm staying home and isolated. Good. Funny though, I was already on quarantine prior to the quarantine.
Oh.
So, I mean, my family will tell you it's very hard to get, Mom, come on, let's go. It's very hard to get me out anyway, just because I am always thinking, I'd really like to do that, but I really don't need to get sick.
Right.
I really don't want to catch something.
Right.
So I'm always been, very precautious about that kind of going out and anyway. And I do go out. Even beforehand, I'd go out, a couple of days a week, just not to get stir crazy in the house. But
right
now going out, I really believe in wearing masks. I definitely believe in wearing gloves, having anti-wipes. I think all that is very responsible and is helpful, because, if something happens to me, I mean, my kids can push through something like this, more likely, but I don't know if I don't know strong enough, or if I could go push through it. So I just try and take really seriously what they're saying to heart, because it does, I feel, make a difference.
Good. And what advice would you give somebody who was diagnosed at this point? What advice would you give them?
Well, I really feel like our mind is a strong thing. Mm-hmm. And our outlook on what we want in our life is connected to that very closely. And so I do believe that it's not the end, and it's not an answer, or it's not a diagnosis you want to hear, but it doesn't have to be the end. Uh-huh. And like I said, I'm living proof that nearly 14 years later, it hasn't been an easy road, but it's been a road that I've traveled, and I've spent, 13 years plus longer with my kids. My kids, at my two little ones would have never even known me. But I've always had a deep faith. Mm-hmm. And I've always believed that we are not here one more day than what we're supposed to be, any of us. And nothing's going to stop that. No doctor's going to stop it. No truck, no plane, no, when our time is here, it's here. Mm-hmm. And I truly believe that. So I look at it this way. If we still have more to do here, we're going to stay here and live to do it, because our Father tells us that we're not ready to go until he takes us. So I think that you just take it as something that is now part of who you are, and you really figure out how to make lemonade out of it, because that's far more important than worrying and fretting that what you've been told. Because honestly, there's just so many more people that are suffering far worse than we could ever imagine.
I think that's great advice. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
Well, I'd like to say really about Relay. I know that I've been doing Relay for it's been over, my oldest daughter's 24, so she was in a wagon with her little sister at probably 4 and 2 years old. So it's probably been 20 years. Wow. I only became a team captain after I was diagnosed. Uh-huh. So, but I've seen what goes into it, and I've seen the love and the patience and the kindness and just the tenacity that goes into these relays from people who the only foot they have in the game is they just want to help. Yeah. They just want to be there. They're not a survivor. They're not a caregiver. Mm-hmm. They don't even know anybody maybe at the time. But there will be a time, especially when you get into something like this, there will be a time when this will directly hit you. And I think that it's just good for people to be in an environment that they know has their back and is supporting them. Mm-hmm. And there's so much of that, more than I even knew when I got diagnosed. I didn't even look into it because I had family with, help. But you don't have to have cancer and be alone. There's just no way. There's lots and lots of good people out there.
I agree. I think that's brilliant. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Hi, I'm Laura Ellingston, and I'm here today to talk to you about the survivorship component of the Santa Clara Relay for Life. So today I'm going to tell you a little bit about my own cancer journey. Then I'm going to share with you how I got involved with Relay for Life and what it means to me. And then I'll tell you about some of the great things that we do with survivors and their caregivers at our in-person Relay for Life event. So in 1989, I was a sophomore in college, and I started having a lot of knee pain. Flash forward through a lot of diagnoses and tests, and I ended up being diagnosed with a form of bone cancer called osteogenic sarcoma. It was in my right leg, just above my knee. When I was diagnosed, I was really scared, which I think everybody is, understandably. I was able to go through a process called limb salvaging surgery, which means that they took out the part of my femur, my thigh bone, that had the tumor in it, and they replaced that with a donor bone along with metal plates and screws, closed my leg up, and then I embarked on over a year of inpatient, very high dose chemotherapy. It was a difficult journey. And there's a picture here of me in the middle of that journey holding my beautiful nephew who was born to give me some joy, in part because that happened right in the middle of a lot of the complications that arose. While I was able to beat the cancer, I ended up with massive infection and became septic due to the chemotherapy really compromising my immune system. They tried several times to eliminate the infection in my leg, but eventually had to remove the donor bone that I'd been given, put a plastic spacer in my leg until I finished the chemotherapy. And then in May of 1990, I was able to undergo a seventh surgery to put in a new bone graft along. At that point, my leg had been damaged even more, so I needed muscle grafts and skin grafts along with titanium bars and screws and other sorts of metal bits and bobs. However, I did get better. I did beat the cancer. I graduated from college, married my sweetheart, went to graduate school, and have really had an incredible life post-cancer. It has been a complicated life, however. I suffer from what are called late effects of my treatment. The vast majority of the over 13 million people who survive cancer will end up with some kinds of illnesses and conditions that are caused by the very treatments that saved their lives in the first place from the cancer. Chemotherapy and radiation and surgery and various medications cause lasting long-term illnesses. In my case, I became not only to have severe orthopedic problems with my salvaged leg, with the leg that had all these metal parts and grafts in it, but also to be susceptible to recurrent infections that were life-threatening. I spent the next 19 years having emergency surgeries and planned surgeries trying to get my leg to work better. The pain got worse and worse, and my leg got shorter with each one of them, necessitating a lift in my shoe. While I was very optimistic and incredibly grateful to have survived, this got very difficult to deal with, especially as it was terrifying to be diagnosed out of the blue with staph infections. In 2008, I had my 16th surgery. It was an emergency again. I'd gone from feeling perfectly fine to having a lot of pain to being diagnosed with a massive staph infection. They removed, once again, the paraphernalia in my leg and gave me 6 weeks of IV antibiotics. I hadn't given up hope, but I was starting to become more realistic. I sat down with my wonderful surgeon, whom I adore, and my lovely husband, and together we made the decision that the risk of staph infection was no longer worth it, particularly given how compromised my leg was. In July of 2008, I became an above-knee amputee. And the other picture on the slide there shows you my new kittens that I got at that time, Wesley and Buttercup, cuddling with my prosthesis, being very accepting of their mommy being an above-knee amputee. That has been a challenge as well. Again, mostly very good. I'm very grateful to be alive and to no longer suffer the risk of those kinds of infections that comes along with having all that kind of metal and scar tissue in my body. Being an amputee is also a challenge. I've learned to walk on a prosthetic, and I usually do fairly well, but I do suffer from some phantom limb pain that is difficult to deal with, and that necessitates medication that also has a bunch of side effects that necessitate other medications. For a long time, I thought it was just me, but learning to live with late effects is something that I found a community around. The American Cancer Society and the National Cancer Institute's Office of Survivorship provide excellent resources for those of us who are so grateful to live past cancer, but then end up with complications that they also have to cope with. I became involved with Relay for Life when my friend Tabitha told me about her team. She knew that not only was I a long-term cancer survivor, but I had become a researcher. See, one of the beautiful things that came out of my diagnosis and treatment was that I decided that I needed to understand better how healthcare providers and patients communicated with each other so I could be part of trying to make that better for both parties and their families and their loved ones and for everyone to improve that communication. I got a PhD in health communication and became a professor at Santa Clara University, where I both teach and conduct research. It's a very satisfying part of my life, and knowing that I'm giving back. Relay for Life became another amazing way for me to give back to the community and to my fellow cancer survivors and to those who had lost loved ones to cancer. With Tabitha's help, I joined a team and learned about how Relay for Life works. Over time, I became the co-leader of the survivorship program with my friend Michaela. We organize special events every year at Relay for Life. And it's become this amazing way that the American Cancer Society and the Relay for Life, both professional staff and volunteers, reach out to the community. We do this in lots of important ways, but my heart in particular is served by reaching out to survivors and caregivers. And I do that often with my students, two of whom are pictured here, and I've gotten them involved in positive ways in the survivorship program. At the Relay for Life in Santa Clara, we do really special things to honor survivors and their caregivers. As a long-term survivor myself, it's really important to me to provide education and support in this way. Every Relay for Life begins with a lap in which cancer survivors walk one lap together in order to celebrate the incredible survivorship that we enjoy. And we enjoy it in part because incredible events like Relay for Life raise money for cancer research. We have a special tent that is just for survivors and caregivers where you can get cold drinks and relax comfortably. All of our survivors are honored with a t-shirt like this one that says Survivor on the back and that has the Relay for Life designs on it. You get a beautiful homemade gift every year that's just special for survivors that Michaela's wonderful sister makes. You also get fun and often very shiny bling from the American Cancer Society. They make these really fun sashes that say Survivor, and medals and pins and stickers and all kinds of fun stuff that survivors and caregivers get their choice of. We also sponsor guest speakers. I usually say a few words because I can't help myself. I'm a communication professor after all. But we also have in special speakers who talk about nutrition and exercise, ways to take care of yourself with meditation, with artwork, and the ways in which art therapy can help you to live a happier life, and simple things that you can do to try to stay positive, but also to reach out for support when you are feeling the emotional and physical pain of cancer survivorship or of having lost your loved one. We also have a wonderful catered lunch for our survivors, and they get a chance to talk with each other and with me and Michaela, who's also a survivor as well. It helps when our survivors pre-register so that we can have the right sizes of t-shirts and know how much food and special things to bring for all of our survivors, but everyone is welcome and will never be turned away. It's a really special time when survivors get together and get to talk to other people who understand what it's like to live through not only the cancer diagnosis and treatment, but also the years and often even now decades. With the research that is funded by Relay for Life, we are able to live many, many, many more years past our diagnosis. And while that's an incredible gift for which we are deeply grateful, it can come along with complications like the late effects that I live with. There's a lot of hope because of the research that is being done. And that's why every year I participate in the Santa Clara Relay for Life, and particularly in the leadership of the survivorship area. It means a lot to me personally and professionally. And I can't wait, even though we've had to postpone our event until the fall, I can't wait to do it again. Thank you so much for joining me while I shared my story of survivorship. I've told you how special Relay for Life is for me, and I urge all the survivors and the caregivers out there to join us at our live event, which is so special. The link is shown below on the screen where you can go to sign up. I can't wait to see you there.
Hi, my name is Shelley Barsanti. I'm a cancer survivor, a caregiver, and a volunteer serving as chair of the Silicon Valley Central Coast Area Board of Directors. We know that cancer hasn't stopped, and so neither will we. However, your support is needed now more than ever, despite our social distance. We are all in this together. Locally, we continue to provide free hotel lodging to those patients who must travel to seek their life-saving treatments. And with government resources being deployed to fight the pandemic, the American Cancer Society's commitment to invest in cancer research becomes all the more significant. In this time of need, the American Cancer Society is taking action. ACS is uniquely positioned to provide virtual support, resources, and trusted information to support our communities 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. In fact, about 80% of the calls that we are currently receiving are related to cancer and COVID-19. We are updating constantly our resources so that we can begin to understand how this pandemic is impacting people who are undergoing a cancer journey. I would like to extend my personal gratitude to our leadership volunteers for your extraordinary work. Your unwavering commitment to the American Cancer Society and its mission and to our community is inspiring. We are a volunteer-led organization in the best of times and in the worst of times. And as we continue to fight this horrible disease that has impacted so many of us, our loved ones, our colleagues, and our friends. And on behalf of the American Cancer Society, the Silicon Valley Central Coast Area Board of Directors, I thank you.
Hello, Santa Clara Relay for Lifers. My name is Becky Adams. I'm the brand new support staff for the Santa Clara Relay for the American Cancer Society. With me here today, I have April. She is also an ACS staff member who works with the mission portion of the American Cancer Society. Hi, April. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks, Becky, and thank you, Relayers. I'm excited to be a part of your event, even if it's virtually. I attended the event last year and met some great people out there, so I'm looking forward to your virtual event.
Great. So let's get started. So there's a lot of people that have heard of the American Cancer Society, but I found that not a lot of people know exactly what the American Cancer Society does. So can you give us a little overview of some of the programs and services that we offer?
Yeah, I'd be happy to do that. So basically, we provide services to cancer patients, their families, caregivers, community partners. We work with a lot of hospitals here in our community as well. And so I can quickly tell you a quick overview of what we do offer. Probably our most important service, especially right now during our pandemic with COVID-19, is that we have a 24-hour patient service center that anybody can call any time of the day. We're open 7 days a week, every day of the year, including holidays. And we have trained staff there who can help provide information, support, financial information, information on specific cancers, and then connect you to services in your local community. And then we also will connect you with the Cancer Society's patient services, which include, we provide transportation to much needed treatment appointments. We also provide free lodging to cancer patients and their families who are traveling for treatment. We provide free wigs for women who are losing their hair due to treatment. We have a program called Reach Recovery, and this is where we match a breast cancer patient to other breast cancer patients in our communities, and we can provide support, information, and just kind of hold their hand, even if it's virtually, to get through their treatment process. So I think those are basic things. We also provide research grants, which you help to fund through Relay for Life, and all of these services wouldn't be possible without your support. So thank you.
Yes, thank you, everyone. So I know with COVID-19, things are looking very different in the communities right now. How, if a cancer patient or caregiver needs some services or has extra questions, where can they turn? What services do we have available for them?
That's a great question, Becky. We have had to cut back on a few things, but our 24-hour patient service center is still operating, and that will continue. In the month of March, we actually, we keep track of all those calls, and 80% of the calls were related to treatment and COVID-19. So we are providing a really great resource for patients who are worried about their treatment being postponed, or, how much is this going to affect them because they are at high risk. And in April, it's gone down a little bit, but it's still 70% of our calls are related. So we are providing a really great service for patients and family members at this time. Our Reach Recovery program, the breast cancer support peer program, is still up and running. One of our local volunteers here in Santa Clara County has been really great about talking to patients whose treatments have been postponed. One of them had to wait to reschedule her surgery, and she was able to provide some great comfort to that person. We're still providing hotel rooms. So if patients need somewhere to stay for their treatment, we just need a note from their medical care provider saying that this is for cancer treatment, and we're happy to provide rooms that are available. And in the West region, we do have one Hope Lodge, and that's in Honolulu, and they unfortunately had to close because of COVID-19, but they have just recently reopened to provide free rooms for medical providers who are providing treatment in the nearby hospital close to Honolulu, Hope Lodge. So we're still giving back to the community, even though it's not for our patients. And the only thing that's really on hold right now is our transportation program because of the concern of spreading the virus to those who are most likely to catch it and have complications, and that's our patients. So as soon as we are able to lift some of the restrictions, our volunteers are ready and willing and waiting to give rides to our patients. So that's kind of where we're at right now.
That's great. I'm so excited to hear that we're able to still provide services to the healthcare workers in the field that are working so hard right now, at least with the Hope Lodges, that since we're not able to provide care for our cancer patients there, we can at least provide some sort of care.
Yeah.
Great. Is there anything else that I'm forgetting? I want to make sure I'm not missing anything. Do you have anything else to add?
No, I think I just want to finish by thanking all of you. Your support at this time is so critical. And having been somebody who's participated in a relay for the last 22 years, I will be supporting my local relay and others. And I can't thank all of you enough. Your event is really what enables us to find cures through research and provide these much needed services for our patients. So heartfelt thanks to all of you, especially during National Volunteer Week.
Yes.
I really appreciate what you're doing. So thank you.
Yes, thank you. And thank you for taking the time to talk to me and to all of the Relay for Lifers of Santa Clara virtually. And I think that's all the questions we have. Thanks so much.
Sure, thank you. Have a great day, everybody, and good luck on your event.
If anyone needs help or has any questions, feel free to call our 24/7 helpline. It's 1-800-ACS-2345 or 1-800-227-2345. Hello again, Santa Clara Relayers. This is Becky here again. I'm interviewing Lori. She is with ACS CAN. Hi, Lori. How are you today?
Good morning. I'm great. How are you?
Great. Thanks for asking. So first thing I wanted to do is just kind of find out just about, like, for those that aren't aware, what is ACS CAN? What does that stand for?
ACS CAN is the American Cancer Society Cancer Action Network, and we are the advocacy part of the American Cancer Society. So we work with our legislators locally, statewide, and federally to make sure bills get passed for cancer patients and their families.
So when we talk about attacking cancer from all angles, you play a very big part in that. Is there something that any participants that might be interested, is there any way that they can become a part of that?
Everyone can become a part of it. You go to fightcancer.org and you can sign up to become an ambassador, or more importantly, join ACS CAN. It's a $10 a year membership, but that money goes towards helping us do our jobs, especially now during this COVID-19 pandemic, were, as well as the American Cancer Society, short on funds to help us take care of cancer patients during this time. So it's very important to become a member. Like I said, fightcancer.org, it's $10. And you'll get action alerts via email if something comes up that's important. Right now, we're trying to make sure that patients are covered during this and their insurance isn't cut out. So it's real important that that message gets out. So you'll get action alerts to go to your legislator to make sure that they're on top of it for everyone.
Great. And what exactly, you mentioned with the COVID-19, I'm sure you guys have been busy. Are there any current things that you're working on right now?
Well, one, and I have my, excuse me for my notes here, we're asking our legislators to include provisions to support cancer patients in the COVID-19 relief package. And also, if anyone knows of a cancer patient that lost their job and will possibly lose their health insurance, we need to know that so we can make sure that they're covered. So that's important. Those are the two important ones we're working on now, besides just the regular cancer research funding. We've got palliative care bills. We're working on a Henrietta Lacks bill for clinical trials. And in California, there, I don't know if you want me to talk about this now, there it's SB 793, and we want to ban all flavored tobacco products. So that one is an important one now that you can also find on the website, fightcancer.org, or I could even get it posted on your Relay for Life page. And all they have to do is click on the petition, and then it'll go directly to their congressperson.
Great. And if someone wanted to contact you because they're want to be a part of this, is it a bill that you're working? Right term?
The tobacco product one?
The one about the insurance that you were talking about. You need to know who is having trouble and
they
get their names.
Well, I know Lori Bremner, who's with our organization, she's getting names of people, so someone could contact me or contact you and you contact me, but I know that's where they're wanting to get that right now is the important one. So we want to make sure that people are covered. So
okay, so would the best form of contact be
get back to you on how to find out, or we could, who would be the main contact for that information.
So if you would like more information about who to contact, check the link below.
Perfect.
Okay. Is there anything else that I forgot to ask, or anything else that you would like to let the Santa Clara Relayers know about?
I just think it's important that they go to the website and everyone join. I know it's hard now with funds being short all around, but this is very important that we get our message out. And when you go to the doctor, it doesn't stop there. You're now having to work with your legislators, and it's real important that bills get passed, especially now, so no one's left out in the cold.
Yeah. And the Santa Clara Relay is being postponed until the fall. Is there something that happens if you get enough people to sign up for ACS CAN with the relay?
Well, we're currently doing Lights of Hope, but I haven't heard what in September. Normally we go to Washington, D.C. and attend Cancer Lobby Day, where you could become a member of ACS CAN and purchase a Lights of Hope bag that would go to Washington, D.C. But I think everything at this point is on hold until we see where we're at with the virus.
Okay.
But that would be what would happen in September. Normally every September, all the ambassadors from each congressional district goes to Washington, D.C. to meet with their congressperson.
For some reason I have the number 40 in my head, but if there were enough people that signed up on their relay for ACS CAN, they would become like a special ACS CAN relay.
Yeah, 40 people in the event. They're a CAN Club event, and you'll get a banner that you can put up around the, on the, I'm drawing blanks here, a big banner that you can have put up. If 10 people on a team become members, you can become a CAN Club team, and then you'll get a poster to put up at your campsite area. So 40 members for a CAN Club event and 10 to be a CAN Club team.
Okay, great. So if you're not currently signed up for ACS CAN, definitely do that. And you can have an ACS CAN relay and an ACS CAN team if you have 10 or more.
That's correct. And it's real easy to get 40 people. So everybody, and that just helps us spread our message. So, and you can compete with other relay events and see who else is a CAN Club event. So I know you guys can do it.
Great. And one last question. You look like you're wearing a very interesting outfit. Would you like to show everybody what you're wearing?
My CAN Club outfit. So to pass bills, gets everybody's attention. So this is my friend made it, and it's our CAN Club. There we go.
All right. Thank you so much, Lori, for all of your information and for going to the Santa Clara relays, or just relays in general, with your ACS CAN outfit. It's very festive, and a lot of people talk about it. I heard about your outfit before I heard about you, so definitely well known. So
well, thank you for inviting me.
Great. Thanks so much.
Hi, my name is Stacy, and I'm the Community Event Lead for Relay for Life of Santa Clara 2020. Our Santa Clara event may be postponed until the fall, but this just means there's more time for you to sign up as a team or as a participant and join the Santa Clara community as we unite in our fight to attack cancer from all angles. Please enjoy this short video from one of our past relays that really shows the spirit of relay we'll be able to enjoy in person this fall.
Hey, welcome today. This is JT from the band Mojo Missing, looking forward to playing for these wonderful volunteers out here doing the work of the Lord.
What is actually happening? What is Relay for Life?
Relay for Life is a bunch of people getting together to support cancer benefits and research and camaraderie and all kinds of family things.
And it would be nothing without the sound guy.
Yes.
Let's enjoy it. And go Warriors.
God bless. Yes. Game 1 today.
It was amazing. Georgianne was an amazing speaker. The band came out.
Awesome. I love all the participation, all the survivors that came out. It's incredible to see.
You're making this event so special. Thank you, everybody.
An infraction.
Yes, an infraction.
Be careful what you say to
This
the
guy's
press.
been on
Take 10.
Hi, come on in, partner. Hi, come on in.
There's a lot of excitement and high energy today for Relay Day, which is a fundraising event to raise money for cancer. Relay for Life is a 24-hour event which takes place all across the country.
Now, come on.
Yeah!
Malcolm, you're gonna get arrested.
I'm ready.
By the way, Malcolm, we are running for my sister Julie. This first lap is for my sister Julie, and this is her son.
Talk to me from your heart. How do you feel?
Just miss her. Just miss her.
Hi, I'm Tabitha Coppola-Hurley, one of the 4 co-chairs for Santa Clara Relay for Life 2018. If you're watching this video at home, you are missing one of the best activities in Santa Clara. Come on out to Townsend Field. It's now noon, and we've been going since 7 a.m. fighting cancer. We'll be out here till 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. See you there.
We want to thank you, our Relay for Life of Santa Clara participants, supporters, and sponsors for your continued support and dedication in the fight to end cancer. The outbreak of the corona disease called COVID-19 is having a serious impact on many people. This includes our cancer patients, their families, and caregivers. Now, more than ever, the ACS number 1-800-227-2345, which your donations help support and run, has become more important than ever. Cancer doesn't sleep, and we will not stop our fight against it. Our event in Santa Clara is postponed until the fall. We wanted to come together today to honor our survivors, participants, caregivers, and sponsors. It's not too late to join us today in a free virtual challenge. Sign up through the Google Doc form and get moving today to get a certificate for joining us in the fight to stomp out cancer. Please share videos or photos of you getting your steps in on our event page, or you can share them on Instagram at RFL Santa Clara. Use the hashtag RFL Santa Clara in your posts. These are challenging times for us all. We look forward to putting together an activity each month to bring us together as a community and make sure everyone knows that you are not alone. Look for more details about the May activity to come. Again, thank you for joining us. We hope you have enjoyed the stories that have been shared from people we know, as well as some ACS programs. Don't forget to check in tonight for our Luminaria slideshow at 5 p.m. Thank you, and thank you to our event leadership team, who has been amazing and has come together and gotten creative to bring this together for you. We'd like to leave you with a message from some of our ELT.
Hello, Santa Clara Relay for Life participants.
We want to say thank you.
Thank you for getting creative.
Thank you for sharing your spirits.
Thank you for continuing to support the fight against cancer.
We appreciate you for all the ways
you continue to inspire your community.
Volunteers are the heart of this organization.
And that simply won't change.
Cancer hasn't stopped.
and neither will we. We're here for you because you're here for us.
And we're still attacking cancer from every angle.
Thank you.